23-year-old Chris and Pete Spelke had the world at their feet. Fearless and full of energy, they lived their lives to the fullest. The recent CU grads were off on the adventure of a lifetime, backpacking around the world. They started in Fiji and made their way up north through Southeast Asia. They stopped in Laos in a place called Vang Vieng, where they went tubing in the local river. Chris tried to cross the river by jumping from a platform. It was 15 feet to the water, but he didn't see what was below.
I knew he hit a rock right when he jumped into the water. So he came out of the water. I was like, Chris, you all right? And he didn't answer.
His heel was badly hurt, so they rushed him to the hospital. They didn't have anesthesia, but they stitched his heel up anyway. An infection quickly set in. So Pete decided to send Chris home, and after some persuading, decided to stay behind on his own and finish out the trip.
It's like, I'll meet you in Athens, I'll be fine. I'm just going to get a cast, whatever.
Pete called their mom, Dawn, to tell her that Chris had broken his foot and was coming home, but she wasn't buying it.
Pete and Chris played football since they were little guys, so they would play through a game with a broken foot and not tell me till the game was over. I can't imagine that he would quit his trip because he broke his foot. That doesn't sound like my son.
So Pete had to come clean.
I got an email from Pete that said, Mom, it's more serious, and that's why Chris is coming home.
When he arrived in Denver, he was rushed to the hospital where his doctor was his former football trainer from high school. As they began to unwrap his foot, everyone could tell that it was much worse than they had thought.
And within about 30 minutes, his temperature spiked up to 104, and he starts shaking uncontrollably. And that's when I freaked out. That's when I went outside and grabbed his trainer and says, do I need to call his brother and have him come home right now? Are we going to lose him?
Chris went into emergency surgery. It was either his life or his foot.
The hard thing was being in there, knowing what he was going to hear. And the doctor looked at him, he says, do you have some questions for me? And Chris is, then he got a little teary-eyed and he says, I really like to ski. I ski a lot. I like to ski. The doc looked at me and said, if you like to ski and that's what you want to do, you'll be able to ski.
Chris sent Pete an email. Pete, so I went through my first operation last night, and the doc says it's a lot worse than they expected. So in order to save my life, they are going to have to amputate my right leg from the shin down. Although it seems like quite a sacrifice, this event has shown me what a gift life truly is, and that we are not our bodies, but our minds. And you and I both, brother, are going to do some incredible things with our minds for the rest of our lives. Love, your brother, Chris Spelke.
I was like, hey. He's like, Chris, did you really lose your leg? Yeah, man, it's cool though. I'll be running faster than you really quick here. So it's just another challenge in life and something getting used to. I think since it's happened to me so young that there'll be a day when I'll just forget how it was to have my leg. It'll be like, this is just how it is.
It could have so easily been a much more tragic story, and to just be able to be excited to see what he's going to bring to this and how he's going to affect people's lives with this is just really exciting for me, and it really makes it hard for me to go into the despair or the tragedy of it and just look at the parts to be so grateful for. So,
with life, you have that choice. You can either be negative or you can be positive, and if you only have one life and you have that choice, why not be positive?
He's just an amazing spirit that he touches so many lives in ways that he doesn't even know. Just amazing to be around him, and I'm just thrilled that he's my son.
Yeah, life's good. I got nothing to complain about.
Stephanie May, News Team Boulder.